Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday to you. Easter Sunday, good morning, good morning. How are you? Thank you for catching me live. Also, thank you for checking out the replay. Good morning. Good morning if you're watching me live. Good evening, good afternoon if you're watching the replay. Hello. My name is LaShanda Henry, aka Sister Sense. I'm an entrepreneur, infopreneur, mentor to many of the women in my circle who are looking for clarity, support, and of course, fire and focus. On this beautiful morning, I said I wanted to jump on here to talk about you, to talk about you and the significance of why you are a gift, number one. Number two, why you are gifted. Number three, why you have gifts to share. I'm not trying to be funny, but today's Easter Sunday. I'm not about the bunny. I'm not about the baskets. I'm about my Lord, Jesus Christ and Savior, who has done amazing things so that I could sit here and live a life. Even a simple life is an amazing life. When you wake up and you're breathing and you're here to live and do for your family and provide for your loved ones and live in your purpose. Every day is a beautiful day. And so today I wanted to talk about to you this conversation about gifts. Of course, if you've been here before, that phrase that pays, fire, 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 make sure you drop that into the comment box. My goal is to make sure that I can motivate you and help you feel focused and fired up. And if this is something that you would like to share with someone or someone's in your circle, feel free to do so. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm a web designer. Again, I mentor women all the time. And in those conversations, I work with women who are, how do I say this, in a space where they want to share but don't believe they have gifts. They want to give but don't believe that they are gifted. And you are gifted. You have gifts. It's funny, I think I just saw on Facebook Live, Kate, I think one of my old school, high school alum friends on Facebook Live here just popped in. And I went to Brooklyn Technical High School when I was a kid. It's a specialized high school. You have to pass a test to get in. So to some degree, you have to be gifted academically to get into a specialized high school in New York. And that was one of the three of them. But I want to talk to you about being in a space where your gift and you being gifted has nothing to do with IQ, but rather the uniqueness in you, that you have been created to share. Thank you. I am happy. Beautiful Sunday, beautiful day. This is a good stuff, good morning kind of a conversation so that we can talk about your gifts, you being gifted, and understanding why you are a gift from the Most High. Right? You think about if you truly believe, if you're a spiritual person as I, and you believe all of the things that he did and went through so that we could be here, then you have to take this day as a day for you to live in your purpose and serve and not feel as though you're not where you should be. Not feel as though you are not happy. You want to be in a powerful place. In order to do that, you have to stand in your truth and in your power. Some people feel powerless. Even a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, they're ambitious and they're driven, and some of the women I know are broken and yet looking to empower other women so they can help them unbreak themselves. But sometimes you're in a space where you don't acknowledge your grace, your gifts, and your goodness. I think I wanted to pour into people because across my life, at really pivotal moments, I had people come into my life and tell me that, LaShanda, you're gifted. You're a gift. You have gifts. And just as we do that with our kids, sometimes we need people to do that for us, because sometimes even in our minds of being ambitious and I want to do this and I want to make this and da-da-da-da-da, even in our hearts of being ambitious, we contradict those powerful conversations. I want to sell, but how am I to sell? And I want to, share people, and I want them to take advantage of this book and this system and this process, but who am I to be in this space to tell them that I can help them and change their lives and provide them with something valuable. Who am I to say that? Look at where I am. Good morning. Happy, beautiful Sunday to you as well. Right? Who am I? You know that you want to do this. You want to serve. You want to give. You want to be an entrepreneur. Who am I? Some aren't sure, right, about what their gifts and their talents are. And so, like I said, I wanted to come on here today so that we could have this conversation, because this is something that you need to hear. This is something that either nobody told you that you were gifted and you had a gift, or this is something that you forgot. Because a lot happens, a lot has happened, a lot will happen in the future that's going to knock you down and to make you feel like the struggle is really real. Am I lying? Am I lying? And in those instances, you are just not clear about why you're here and if it's all worth it. It's just not clear. So before I jump into the conversation that I want to share with you, I actually want to share the message from today in my daily devotionals book from Sarah Young, Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence. Jesus Calling, over at jc.sistersense.com. You can learn more about this particular daily devotionals book. This is my personal favorite. You've got it? Good. So hopefully you can dive into today's message with me today. And again, for those of you who don't have it, Jesus Calling, you can go to jc.sistersense.com to learn about it. So today's message is this: I am calling you to a life of thankfulness. I want all your moments to be punctuated with thanksgiving. The basis for your gratitude is my sovereignty. I am the creator and controller of the universe. Heaven and earth are filled with my glorious presence. When you criticize or complain, you are acting as if you think you could run the world better than I do. From your limited human perspective, it may look as if I am mismanaging things, but you don't know that I know or see what I see. If I pulled back the curtain to allow you to view heavenly realms, you would understand much more. However, I have designed you to live by faith, not by sight. I lovingly shield you from knowing the future or seeing into the spirit world. Acknowledge my sovereignty by giving thanks in all circumstances. Isaiah 6:3, Corinthians 5:7, Colossians 5:18. Strengthen my faith. Absolutely. See, because sometimes we criticize and we complain, right? Lord, why you did this? Why is this happening? I thought you said this was supposed to be done by now. I thought you said I was supposed to be here by now. Angry at him, angry at yourself, angry at the circumstance, criticizing why things go in the way they are. We have to live by faith, not by sight. And we have to acknowledge those things that are within us, that he has put in us. Again, I said, listen, today I'm not about the bunny. Not trying to be funny. I'm not about the bunny and the baskets. I'm about the Most High, the things that he has done for me so that I could be here living and breathing and enjoying my family and my friends and being in a space where I could come here and talk to you, whoever you are, whether you're spiritual or not. I remember on one of my communities, my networks for women entrepreneurs, there was a young lady and she was talking about spirituality, and someone came on and said, this is about business. This is not about spirituality. I said, stop right there. I said, stop it right there. Everything we do, I acknowledge who that comes through. So stop. We're not going to have that conversation, not here. By the grace of God, I am here. So let's talk about the first of these three, because I want us to really dig on what it means to be thankful. And when I read this in particular, let me actually say this again, where it says here, I want all your moments. I want all your moments to be punctuated with thanksgiving. The basis of your gratitude is my sovereignty. So I said, you know what, Google, let me get clear, because I know the word sovereignty, but let me get clear. Google, refresh my memory. Sovereignty, being in control. Being in control of oneself and one's space without any external interference is sovereignty. And then this particular message is saying, listen, I know that you think like you know it all, and it would be great if I gave you the key to it all, but guess what? I am in control. I got this. I don't need your interference. And I have a bigger reason and purpose as to why you don't have access to the spirit world. To some people don't have access. We're not everybody, but some of us are inclined to have some degree of access to the spirit world, right? Whether you believe that or not, I personally believe that to be true. That's number one. But number two, understanding that to some degree, right? God has given us power over ourselves, right? Your body, your temple, your vessel, you have control, but to some degree, we lose that, whether we feel like our life is out of control. Number one, we lose that. Or we feel like we've gone through so many years in our life that at this point, nothing can change. We're just kind of in it, right? Why bother? It's not going to change. This is just my life. This is what it is. But just as this message speaks of sovereignty from the Most High, we have sovereignty for ourselves. I share this message because, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I'm talking about money, I'm talking about marketing, and at the end of the day, if you cannot confidently see within yourself your value, your gift, your presence, your existence, you can't sell anything. You can't value anything that you do. Even though some of you say, I want to empower, I want to serve, then who am I, right? Conversations versus contradictions. Who am I to charge for this? Who am I to ask for more? Who am I to say I can change lives? I know I'm selling this, but is it really valuable? I want to be able to put you in a space to check yourself, because I needed people to pour in me in moments when I felt at the low point. Or I needed to remember to remind myself of this. So either somebody didn't tell you, somebody never told you that you were a gift, you were gifted and you had gifts, or you needed to remember that today. Listen, have I been in your head, girl? I've been in mine. So maybe we those conjoined twins with the two heads stuck together. Maybe we conjoined twins. Been in each other's head, right? I knew it, right? I knew it. So listen. First part I said today, I wrote down, you are a gift. Does everybody here feel like you're a gift from God, from the Most High? Do you feel like you're a gift, whether you believe in God or you believe in a higher power, a higher being? Do you feel like you are a gift? You are a gift. Yes or no? It's okay to say no. Do you feel like you're a gift? I ask you this question because I want to share with you today a few things. Number one, there's something, possibly a few things maybe that have broken you in the past, but you are unbreakable. There's something, possibly someone who burnt you in the past, but you are not a burden. There's possibly, maybe some things that went wrong before, but you are not wrong. The timing is not wrong. You're not in the wrong skin. Sometimes my hubby says to me, real talk, listen, the kind of information that you're trying to sell, you in the wrong skin. You needed to be of another shade, another persuasion. Just being real. Because you're trying to sell sometimes to people who do not understand the things that you were saying. I'm just being real. He says, and I said, no, I'm not in the wrong skin. I know who I was called to serve. I know that it's not easy. But this is who I am. This is my purpose. You're not in the wrong skin. I know that some way, somehow, maybe you have made mistakes, but you are not a mistake. You're not a burden. You're not wrong. I know sometimes we slip the tongue and we say a curse or two, but you are not cursed. You do not have a curse on you. You are a gift. You are his gift. Each of us in our own right. If this again is something you feel like others should know, feel free to share it with them. You're so very welcome. It's a powerful reminder because we need to be reminded, just as though we will wake up and we will encourage our kids and we will put them in front of the mirror and say, I am gifted, I am powerful, I am melanin magic. We want them to have that self-esteem, in some way along the way. We lose our self-esteem, our gift, our magic, because nobody's putting us in front of the mirror. They saying either you have it or you don't, but boo, it's on you. Guess what? Sometimes we need somebody to remind us. One of my favorite phrases, one of my favorite quotes is this: yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Y'all ever heard that before? I love that quote. I absolutely love that quote. Hey, Facebook Live, thank you for joining me. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So if today is a gift, you are the present, you live in the present, you breathe as the present, then I think you're a gift too. I think you're a gift too. You are of the present. You were put here to live here in this now because you are a gift from the Most High. What is your purpose? Can you write that down for me? What is your purpose? Can you speak that out loud for me? Thank you, sweetie. What is your purpose? Write it down, speak it out loud, put it in the comments. What is your purpose? Who are you here to serve? Are you living in your purpose? Because guess what? If you're a gift and today is a gift, what are you going to do with today? Quiet meditation is good in the morning. Taking a good breath, being thankful, right? Being thankful for what you have. Helping young people, encouraging those who are sick and shut in. That's powerful. That's a powerful purpose. Yesterday I met a pastor, and her purpose is to work with young children who are going through hospice. When they're in a space where they're at the last point of their lives. Some of them are doing it alone. Some of them are struggling in pain and struggling to keep on because their loved ones are saying, baby, please don't leave me. And they're trying to stay for them, but they're going through so much pain. And she believes her calling and her purpose is to help them through that process. What is your purpose? What are you called here to do? Who are you called to serve? You are a gift. Today is your gift. Acknowledge that. Speak it out. Put it in the comment box. What is your purpose? Who are you called here to serve? That's number one. Number two, what is your agenda for today? What is your personal agenda for today? My son said to me, okay, Mommy, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to jump on a live stream a second. He said, okay, after that, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I've got some pots. It's a beautiful day. I got my sundress on. We're going to do some potting, some plants. I know I say I don't have the green thumb that I would like to. But we're going to do a few things together. Every Easter Sunday, I got to watch my Potter's House, TD Jakes, sit down and watch that and, be in a prayerful space, relax with the family. I also have an agenda with respect to the projects that I'm working on. The content that I want to create, I'll sit down and in my private space, I'll work on that as well. Family time, work time, quiet time. I make sure I write it down, by the way, just as I have my notes here, right? You're planting memories. I know, right? My dreams. One day I'm going to have a green thumb. One day I'm going to have a green thumb. But I write down my agenda every morning. And I ain't going to lie to you, I don't get all of it done. I'm not perfect. I do not get all of it done. Let me stop rocking, because when I watch these videos, sometimes I'm like, sometimes the rocking can be a bit much when you're trying to focus on the person who's talking. You must have an agenda. So hopefully you've written down, has everybody written out their agenda for today? Whether you're cooking a fabulous meal or you're having a prayer session. And I even said to myself, my hubby's mother, she has a prayer line. And, ooh, you need to sit down and do your agenda, boo, because let's listen. Here's another one of my favorite quotes. Run your day. Don't let your day run you. See, when you don't have an agenda, all of a sudden, it goes away. Sometimes you don't need to have an agenda. I understand. Sometimes you need to have those days where you do nothing. But of course, there are days where you make sure that you've got something clear. And my hubby's mother, she has a prayer line. And right now, through Lent, she usually does it once a week, but she's been doing the prayer line every day. And my mother and my grandmother and my aunt, and you know, it's so amazing when you have your family and your spouse's family, and there's good, right? You know, because when there's contention, that can be a definite problem. But you know, my grandmother and my mother, they go on the prayer line, and you know, my mother was like, "Were you on last night? I heard a dog. Was that Brit in the background?" But being in a space where, whether you pray alone or you pray with your loved ones, you pray on somebody or somebody prays on you, I'm here to just say to you, you are a gift, number one. You are a gift. Acknowledge that you're a gift. You are here in this present for a reason. And make sure that every single day you create an agenda at the beginning of the day. You don't have to do everything on that list, but you have to create that list. So you say, today, I know that I am precious, I am a gift, and I will make the most of this day. I know there's a reason for sneezing. Lynette, if you're watching, you can remind me, boo. Remind me of that reason. Every time I sneeze, she told me something is happening. Lynette is one of my clients. She's a light worker, and she's reminded me of the power of what happens when you're sneezing, and I need her to come back and tell me. Bless you. Thank you, sweetie. You are a gift. Number two, you are gifted. Can y'all write that down for me? Can you put that in there for me? You're gifted. You're gifted. I think this is such a powerful conversation because I just saw on Facebook Lives, one of the ladies who dropped in was Kate, one of my fellow alum from Brooklyn Technical High School. Brooklyn Tech is a specialized high school that I went into when I was a kid. Once I graduated from Brooklyn Tech, I went to Columbia University, Ivy League, as a young adult. And after Columbia, I worked with a program called Prep for Prep, which actually is a program for gifted inner city youth. So we put them into exclusive, private, highly academic schools in New York. These are inner city, a lot of times low-income children that have just beautiful minds, and they need to have the kind of schools that will nurture those minds. But those are the kind of schools where 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, you're paying $15,000 and $20,000 a year. So Prep for Prep was created as a nonprofit to help those students get into those schools, provide them with the finances, the funding, and in my case, the support that they needed, because when they go into these schools with kids who, after they leave school, are getting picked up by a nanny, or going into a limo, or being, these are the kids of actors and actresses and politicians, the kids that on the weekend, they're going to the Hamptons, the kids that when they say, hey, come to my bar mitzvah, they're buying out 6-figure halls. They needed to make sure that those kids were not in a space where they felt less than. And so I was a counselor for Prep for about 3-4 years. We consistently went in those schools. We talked to the kids and made sure that they saw themselves as valuable, as continuing to see themselves as gifted, and knowing that even though you may be a little bit darker than the majority of the people that you see here, your melanin magic is real. And showing them, because I was a counselor, it was by no fault of Prep or no mistake, Prep chose to hire college graduated students with bachelors who have gone to the best schools across the country to be counselors so that they can see, listen, when you get out of this, when you finish your elementary school experience, when you finish your high school experience, you will go to the school that I went to, because I'm going to tell you exactly what that is like, and then you are going to be here doing what I do. A lot of them go back and they work with prep because they want to help the next generation of gifted students. So I've been in a space of, man, you were gifted for a very long time. Melanin magic. I've been in that space for a very long time, but my space has been weird. I'm going to be honest with you. My space has been weird. Because while I know I got a lot of great grades, and from the beginning on up, you know, A's, all A's, all A's. I was the student in high school when the biology teacher would be like, come on now, LaShanda got like A++++. What the hell? How come y'all got like 55? What was going on? I was in a space where either I was chastised for being smart, I was the other, or I was in a space where people honestly didn't think I was smart because I was very quiet. I did not talk a lot. One of the people that resonated very strongly with me when I was growing up was Maya Angelou for traumatic experiences that she went through as a child. For many years, she didn't talk. I didn't go through those traumatic experiences that she went through, but I'm just a quiet person. I'm a social introvert. It's amazing to see me here, I know, but I don't talk a lot when I'm not on here. So I want to talk to you today about you being gifted from two perspectives, acknowledging your giftedness and understanding that giftedness is not simply about IQ, it's about the uniqueness in you. There's something about you that is unique and amazing that no one else can touch. I remember I was on a scope one day, and trolls, you know, they always come and they always say things. I don't even remember the scope. What I remember is a conversation I had with my client, and she said, one time you were on a scope, somebody said, you're stupid. And everything about you changed. Your demeanor changed. Everything about you changed. And I could tell you were trying to hold it together, but I know that's one of your trigger words. I don't know if you've ever seen, but I have something called the new normal. The new normal is me writing down my personal system to being in a space where I learned how to create my desired new normals, not thinking and dreaming about it, but actually living the dream. The new normal.sistersense.com, that's where it is, my personal guide to creating new normals in your life. And one of the things I talk about in the workbook is trigger words. She said, girl, I know stupid is a trigger word for you. Because I was quiet, because my mother, she was like, whoo, you ain't going outside. Brooklyn is scary, you staying in the house. Because of those experiences, I grew up in a space where even though I was intelligent, I didn't feel intelligent, because either people made me feel bad for being smart, or people didn't think I was smart, not in an IQ way, but in a common sense way. I remember when I got into Columbia, one of my aunts on my father's side said, oh, you know, I would expect that of my younger sister. I would expect that of her, but not of LaShanda. Right, to insinuate that I'm slow and I don't talk a lot, so something must be wrong with me up here. Never mind, I had friends. I had a boyfriend, went to parties, but to some degree I carry that with me, that sometimes people think I'm slow. Anybody ever feel like that? Slow, awkward, stupid? At the same time, this is the same person who went to a gifted elementary school, went to a specialized high school, one of the only 3 in New York City, went to an Ivy League. And you know, most times, my hubby tells people I went to Columbia University. I don't even talk about that. I got into Columbia. I got into, I didn't apply to MIT. I got into New York University, Drexel. I think I got on into about 5 or 6 different schools. I didn't apply to Columbia, by the way, because I told myself I was going to New York University, and then someone from Columbia called me. This was past deadline. They said, no, you're coming in, you're applying. I said, the application was already done. They did that already. They were like, no, you're applying to Columbia. We want you here. And I decided to go to Columbia versus NYU. But this is the same person who also felt slow, insecure, not enough. my mother overprotected me. Like, I remember the first time she let me, Brooklyn girl, living in my apartment. We lived on the 6th floor, right? The first time she let me leave the apartment and go and buy something at the corner store. So she's watching out the 6th floor window as I'm crossing the street, and she starts to scream, "Don't hit my baby!" She's screaming at the cars because she doesn't want anybody to hit me, and I felt so embarrassed. And people would say, you know, how come you don't know how to get to this location or that location, right? They would say, you know, things like make me feel bad, like I'm slow because I don't know how to get to places. And I'm like, well, you know, my mother gets me picked up from school and I go at home. I don't walk outside by myself, you know, I'm kind of like chauffeured places. And that always made me feel kind of slow and not as with it as the other kids that were just always walking, and they had more responsibilities, more independence. And I grew up thinking, well, my mother didn't think that I was responsible enough or that I could handle certain things. Until the very same client who said to me, I know that stupid is a trigger word for you. She said to me, I'm going to be honest with you. I know you think that your mother did that and sheltered you because she didn't think that you were bright enough or gifted enough or strong enough to do certain things. But did you ever consider that maybe she sheltered you because she wanted you to not go through something that she went through? And it wasn't even about you. It was about protecting you from something that she doesn't want to share and talk about. That completely shifted me. Because I'm thinking, yeah, I know I got an A and I got into Columbia, but I'm not that smart. Gifted has nothing to do with IQ. It has to do with the uniqueness in you. I still, to this day, and I'm sharing this conversation because I work with entrepreneurs. I work with women who want to empower. Some women don't feel smart because they're like, LaShanda, I don't know technology. I don't read that well. I have dyslexia. Some women feel like they don't think they're that smart because they're trying to do this business thing and they're 50 and they're 60 or they're 45 and they're like, this is a young people's game. Some people don't think they're that smart because they've lived with a spouse who told them for several years, you ain't nothing. You ain't going to be nothing. This is as good as it gets. But you know there's more. So you striving for more. Guess what? You, the very essence of you striving for more, knowing there's more, you're gifted. You have a gift. You're different. Even when people are speaking of you in a way that is not really you, you still trying to rise to the top. Still trying to strive for more. That is an indication of greatness and giftedness that we must acknowledge. Because see, sometimes we feel like we need to see it on the paper, and I'm being real with you. I saw it on the paper every day. You're crying? Wow. I didn't want you to cry. I don't want you to cry. But hopefully it's a release. Hopefully it's a release. I said I wanted to come on here today, not to be funny, but I'm not about the bunny. I'm about the Most High. I'm about the things that he did for us. And I wanted to talk about it in a way that acknowledges him in us, right? That acknowledges him in us because number one, you're gifted. Number two, you're a gift. Number three, you have gifts to give. I can't come on here and talk about money and marketing and sales and what you can do if you don't value you. If you struggle with value, if you struggle with confidence, if you struggle with progress, if you struggle with success, if you struggle with money, your conversations around money, because you want that and you're having conversations and you're trying to look towards people to help you move forward, but then you're contradicting yourself in ways that hold you back. I had to be here to remember to remind myself of that and remind you of that, because even when they put it on the paper and said, oh my God, look at this smart A, that used to kill me. That used to rip me up in the 5th grade, in the 4th grade, in the 7th grade. I went to a very small Caribbean private school in Brooklyn, and we would have awards, and I would go up like 12 times. I would have a stack of awards like this, and I would be in the corner trying to hide them because folks was either looking at me mad or looking at me sad or looking at me in a way that just did not make me feel good about being gifted. I never felt gifted. I either felt slow or I felt like I was trying to dim other people's light. They were upset because my light was shining. I remember I did an event once, and one of the ladies said to me, "Why you gotta be so extra?" And she was laughing about it, but it hurt me. Because, see, I was looking for, "Oh my God, LaShanda, this is so beautiful. This is so amazing. You worked so hard." But I'm just trying to be extra. I'm just trying to show off. I didn't see it as a gift or me being gifted. Sometimes it felt like a curse. And sometimes I didn't even feel gifted. I felt slow as hell because that's the way either family members made me feel or I made myself feel. I want to share this with you because it takes me back to a place I was, because I'm currently talking to women who are doing my Simplify Serve and Sales Challenge, the 28-day challenge to help women entrepreneurs get better at sales. And this conversation around confidence is coming up constantly. I was talking to one of my amazing entrepreneurs. She has a beautiful community, a beautiful tribe, a huge tribe. Like, I wish I had her tribe size, like, for real, for real. Sometimes it's so good to talk to people and let them know how gifted they are because they don't even see it. I'm like, come on now, look at what you got. I said to her, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say to your community, who wants to talk to me privately? Who wants to talk to me? And for those people who want to talk to me, what do you want to talk about? How do you think that I can help you in your life? Her response to me, like, LaShanda, that's kind of presumptuous, don't you think? Who am I to say that I can help them? I was like, wow. Ain't that what you doing every time you jump on live stream? Every time you send out a message or do something or send something for free? Aren't you changing lives? Well, you know that's free. That doesn't count. Yes, it does. Who am I? Didn't you build a community of people who are wanting to stick to you like glue because of who you are? And you have the audacity to ask, who am I? You don't want to put yourself out there and say you're going to charge for people to talk to you because who are you? What? You are gifted. That's who you are. I recently had a conversation with a young lady, and we were talking, and every time she talked about stuff, she said, well, you know, what I'm saying is not that big. What I'm saying is not that important. Y'all ever said that? What I'm saying is not that serious. It's common sense. Everybody knows this. What I'm saying is common knowledge. You ever talk truth and talk amazing, but at the same time you talking, you devaluing the things that you say? Well, you know people know this already, so you know. I mean, I'm just trying to remind y'all, but you know people know this already. I said, boo, let me tell you something right here. Common sense is not common. Do not discredit the things that you are saying because for some people, they're hearing what you are saying for the first time. I'm not telling you this because I am some type of genius. I'm telling you this because at some point, life and or somebody told me, stop speaking contradictory words with respect to the value that you are speaking out to the world. Number one, you are a gift. You are his gift from the Most High. Number two, you are gifted. It has nothing to do with IQ. It's all about your uniqueness. Stop saying, well, you know, what I'm saying is just common sense. No, it's not. For that particular young lady, I said to her, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you a story you never heard because I never told it. I said, you know I'm a web designer. She said, yes. I said, I went to an event and one of my newest clients at the time spoke your name. She said, every year I participate in this event. This is a huge event. I participated because this young lady created it, and you can, every single state, you can participate in it, and she's amazing and she's huge. Mind you, she didn't know that I knew that person. I said, you have people across the globe who know your name? I'm having a conversation talking to somebody who's talking about you and how invested she is in your day, in your creation, and how many hundreds of people and women across the globe and the world participate in your creation. You telling me you created a movement when we got folks out there struggling to move? You created a movement. You sitting here right now in front of me talking about, well, what I'm speaking is just common knowledge. You're gifted. You are gifted. What is that singer who says, I see the God in you? I said, I see the God in you. I see him in you. You created a movement in a space where others are struggling to move. You sitting here talking about, well, you know what I'm saying is just common knowledge. No, it's not. You are gifted. It has nothing to do with IQ. It has nothing to do with, oh, well, you know, I can't say it like so-and-so because so-and-so is going to tell you how to make $1 million. So-and-so is going to tell you how to make 6 figures. I can't say it like that, so nobody's going to buy from me. Who am I? You are from the Most High. What you talking about? Who am I? Give people your gift, your genuineness, which is number 3. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Giving your gifts. But before we can get to number 3, we have to stick here at number 2. You are gifted. You cannot give them that person's gift because that is that person's gift. You have your gifts to give. Some of the gifts that they're trying to give ain't even real. They fake. Once I saw an image and it said, be careful of what things look like. Because salt and sugar can look the same, but they don't taste the same. You ever look at something and go, ooh, that looks sweet. And it's all the way salty. They both look white, little flecks. Salt and sugar ain't the same. You are gifted. I wanted to share those personal stories with you because those 2 particular ladies that I was speaking about, I said to them, I know what you feel like because I was in that place. I know what it's like when you're like, who am I? I don't have anything valuable to share. But you do. That's why you're here. Right? The first thing I said to you is you are a gift because yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. You are of the present. You are of life. You breathe. Which means you're a gift. Point and simple. One of the things I said to you all is sometimes I did not feel smart and bright and brilliant because I felt awkward and different. Anybody feels awkward and different? Anybody ever feel awkward and different? Well, the truth of the matter is that when you consider yourself to be a gifted person, you have to be different. Because your difference is what the world needs. Your difference will make a difference in the lives of others. The lives of others, I should say. So you have to be able to identify what makes you different. What makes you different? I'm not asking that rhetorically. I'm literally asking you to identify what makes you different. Whether you say that here with me live, you write that down somewhere, what makes you different? The first part of this conversation, I talked about the fact that you are a gift because you live in the present. You are of the present today, the present. We celebrate. We appreciate what the Most High has done for us, has sacrificed for us. Resurrection Day, the pain, the struggle, so that we could be here today. That means you are a gift. You're here for a reason. So what is your agenda? The first question is, what was your agenda for today? If you don't create an agenda each day, you need to start doing that. You need to start acknowledging I am a gift, which means I need to have an agenda today. I don't let the day rule me. I rule my day. My life is just not set in stone and this is what it meant to be forever. I can control what my life looks like. Where I am and where I was is not the deciding factor as far as where I'm going to be. Don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life. Can anybody feel that? Have you been living the same year? How many years have you lived the same year? Same job, same house, same people? How many years have you lived that felt like you've been living the same year? Write it down. Can you drop a number in there for me? How many years have you felt like you lived the same year? I'm going to be honest with you. This is going on year 4. We've been living in this house for 4 years. God bless, I can't get to year 5. Year 5 is going to be a beautiful thing for me because that's an anniversary. So many fears around that in and of itself. 5 years. You feel like you've been living the same year for 5 years. That's powerful. And it's so funny because you put 5 years up there feeling like you've been living the same year. I just said I'm hoping and praying to get to year 5 in this particular home that I've invested in myself and my family, my hubby and my son. But how many years have you been living the same year? Every year I feel like it's slightly different from the year before. That's important to me, by the way. I have to be able to look at and see the differences between this year and last year because I cannot and I will not live the same year 75 times. You have to be the change you seek. You have to create the blessings you want. You have to serve the people you wish to serve. You have to get out of your head and get out there so you actually are making action. If you're different, know that your difference makes a difference in the lives of others. That difference is an indication that you are gifted. You are unique. So what about you is different? How many years have you been living the same year? What about you is unique? That's going to call you to really identify how you are gifted. I talked about the particular message for today, this beautiful Sunday from Jesus Calling, and the message being, listen, don't think that the Most High saying in this message, don't think that because I'm not giving you the key to the knowledge of the future and the spiritual world that I'm not doing something wrong. Don't think that because you're human and you see wrong things going around that I'm doing something wrong. I am sovereign. Acknowledge my sovereign. Be thankful for what you have. Don't criticize. Don't complain. There's a reason. One of my favorite verses, there's a season for everything. There's a reason and there's a season. Let's get that clear. There's a reason for you to be here. How are you gifted? You can drop that in the comment box. You can let me know. How are you gifted? How are you different? How many years do you feel you've been living the same year over and over and over? And you're like, man, 5 years? I've been living the same year? Something got to change. Something got to give. Something got to go. I have a guide. It's called my New Normal Guide over at thenewnormal.sistasense.com. And one of the things I talk about is love it or lose it. Those things in your life that you love and you absolutely want to keep, and those things in your life you want to lose so you can grow, so you can get out of, right? So you can evolve. Those are things that are important. I also talked about a few minutes ago, trigger words. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. That is beautiful in and of itself. What are those trigger words that cause you to hold yourself back or feel like you're less than, like you're not gifted, like you're not called here to share your gifts? What are trigger words that hold you back? What are power words that propel you forward? The New Normal has a 32-page workbook, and I talk about the processes and the systems that I've created to create normalcies for myself. Even when I was in Brooklyn and I was going to go to college, I talked about me being a Columbia girl. I remember one day someone saying to me, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to be in this apartment in Brooklyn for the rest of your life, just like the rest of us. What you talking about? Living in Manhattan. You think you good? You think you're a Manhattan girl? You a Brooklyn girl? You a hood girl? You going to be here in Crown Heights for the rest of your life. Stop playing. putting limitations on me because they had limitations on themselves. Guess what? I moved out of Brooklyn. I did go to Columbia and Manhattan. I have seen the world. I have been to the Caribbean. I have been to Europe. I have spoken across the globe. I have people speaking my name across the globe. I don't live in an apartment in Brooklyn anymore. I do live in my own home in North Carolina. I have created my new normalcies in spite of me not seeing that. In spite of other people saying that you couldn't do that. I said, nah, boo. Even when I didn't think I was gifted, I acknowledged it, that God put me here for a reason and I had to live out a gift. For some people I know ain't nothing changed but the day. Their situation is the same, their life is the same, their house is the same. Some people I know living in darkness, literally. Whether they live in a space that just looks dark and gloomy and doesn't have the right lighting. And for me, that's something that I acknowledged. There were days when I would acknowledge locations in the inner city that just were dark. Whether the supermarket was dark, or the sky was dark, or there was not enough trees, or because we lived in the hood, we needed to have 15 bars on our windows. I never got to open my bedroom window. I don't even think the person who lives in the apartment that I live in, and I lived in here for 7 years, whoever's in that apartment, I don't even think they could open that window. Because I lived in that apartment till I was what, 30? Maybe 28, 30, somewhere around there. I don't think that they could open those windows. Here I am every day on this porch, fire and focus. Why? Because I get sunlight now. I didn't get sunlight before when I couldn't open those windows because they had bars on them. Even when I transitioned from that apartment to the next apartment, half the time all them windows was closed. Living in rooms that don't have windows at all. My second floor, when you look out the staircase, all windows. All light. Some people are living in darkness, either in their mind or just living in darkness. That's a powerful thing. What about your life that you say, I don't want to live the same thing every year for 75 years? That's why I created the new normal. I sat down and I really broke down the things that I did to transition out of, in spite of other people telling me I couldn't. In spite of believing that, okay, if this is the circumstance in the life for these people, that must be my life and circumstance. But guess what? One of the things that my mother did for me as a child is she always said, if I cannot provide you with something, I'm going to find people who can provide it to you. So she always showed me different. She always took me to different places. She always ensured that during the summertime, she took me, and actually, I don't even know how she did this because maybe it was just a different time. But when I was younger, every summer, my mother would send me to Florida so I could be with my aunts, and they had homes. And, you know, being an apartment girl, it's a different life. You know, I could see the green grass and I can see the sun. I don't know if I could put my 10-year-old on an airplane. This is a different time that we live in today, and you know that is completely different. But the fact that she did that for me, the fact that she said, you know what, I'm going to show you what homes look like, what difference look like every summer, that created a point of reference for me. The fact that when I was in Brooklyn, and there are people in the inner city who don't leave the block. Who knows folks who don't leave the block? I know people who I say, go to Manhattan, go do something in Manhattan. They scared. They do not leave the block. My mother was like, no, I like your school here in Brooklyn, but there's so many things for you to learn in Manhattan. She put me in a program. She put me in several programs. One of them was for technology, and it happens to be at NYU. And I don't know if you know about 80s and 90s in New York and snow, when the snow was piled up to your hip, and nobody was leaving their house. My mother and my other mother. It makes me... I think about my other mother because she's sick and she has Parkinson's. And those Saturday mornings where she would drive in the snow to take me from Brooklyn to Manhattan to go to NYU And I would say, why are we doing this today? Nobody else is going to school on Saturday. It's snowing. And I would go to NYU and there would be like maybe 2 or 3 other kids because nobody else was there. They said, you are going. You're going because we believe in you. My mother always showed me different. I was never afraid. I remember yesterday I was talking to Adia and we were talking about where we live in North Carolina and there's not enough sidewalks, and I've gained quite a bit of weight and lost a lot of my New York muscle because I don't walk like I used to. I used to walk from Manhattan all the way home to Brooklyn. My hubby and I, some of our best dates were when we walked. We would walk, 34th Street, 42nd Street, Times Square, go from 42nd Street, walk to 34th Street, from 34th Street, walk to the Village, from the Village, cross Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Bridge, from Brooklyn Bridge, go downtown, from downtown, go to Flatbush, from Flatbush, go to Crown Heights. We would walk. I was never afraid to walk, to go to unfamiliar spaces, to be in a space, to do technology in a space that's full of other people that don't look like me or talk like me or feel like me. Because that's something that she instilled in me, even when I didn't see it in me or other people told me I was not going to make it. I share this message with you because it's important to know that you are a gift from the Most High. That you are gifted. Your giftedness has nothing to do with IQ. It's about the uniqueness in you. And you have gifts to give. You have gifts to give. Today is a beautiful day. It's Easter Sunday, and it's not about the bunny. I'm not trying to be funny. It's not about the bunny. It's not about baskets. It's about appreciating the resurrection, the Most High, what He did for us so that we could be here today. And you don't feel confident enough to give your best to people. You don't feel confident enough to sell to people. You don't feel confident enough in the value. You're creating stuff and you're trying to sell, but you don't want to speak it. And you feel like you begging. You feel like you praying for profit and you begging for business because you don't acknowledge your gifts. I have to acknowledge it for you, at least point it out to you, because somebody had to point that out to me. I think it's a beautiful thing when a child can grow up and throughout that process of growing up be nurtured and loved and told that they were beautiful and that they are beautiful. But it's a difficult thing when you grow up a girl, when you grow up a woman, when you grow up of a darker persuasion, when you grow up in a location that doesn't provide you with that kind of nurturing and support. When you grow up seeing things that you shouldn't have seen, or hearing things that you should not have heard. We're just grown children. We're just grown children. Some of us feeling broken and beaten. Some of us feeling like a mistake. Some of us feeling burnt out. Some of us feeling like a burden to others. Some of us feeling like a curse. Some of us feeling wrong. Because we're grown children. And sometimes you needed to be reminded of the fact that you are a gift. You are gifted and you have gifts to give. So one of my favorite ladies, Kim Coles. I've got lots of ladies in my circle who do amazing things. Letitia Nicole, who lives here in North Carolina, her brand is Speak Your Gifts. What a powerful statement that is. Speak your gifts. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I wrap up today is acknowledging that you have gifts to give. You're not here to pray for profit or beg for business. You're here to be a valuable person with gifts to give. So when I get into the week or the month or the year and I talk about, listen, today we're going to sell, we're going to make money, we're going to monetize, know that in order for you to do that, you need to work through this. The runny nose, the runny eyes, acknowledging that this part, the work before the work. Because if you don't do this, you're not going to be self-motivated to do what you do, to confidently get up in front of people. Remember this week, this past week actually, I did a session on savvy seller secrets. I talk about how is it possible for the social introvert from Brooklyn that people thought were slow, that people thought didn't know her foot from her toe, how is it that she's able to sell and live in her purpose? Somebody said, you know, you're ministering. I didn't see entrepreneurship and technology and blogging as ministry. How am I able to get in here and confidently say this to you boldly, not just saying it to myself privately in my own prayer closet, but coming here and saying that to you? Because I learned how to sell not only things, but to sell myself on the phone, online, offline, now even on stage. Some of this you have to learn if it's not inherently within you. Understanding that you have gifts to give. So I take a page out of Letitia Nicole's book today when she says you have to speak life. I take a page out of my beautiful spirit Kim Coles today when she says you have to speak your gifts. Speak them, say them, write them, value them, commit to them. What are your gifts? What are you giving to the people here? Yesterday, one of the best things Adia said, Adia Rogers, trendy socialite, I went to a brunch that she hosted yesterday and she asked a powerful question. She said, what is your skill and who are you here to serve? What are you good at? What is your gift? And we all went around and we said who we were, what we do, what we feel like we're really good at. And you know what's interesting? My response, I said, if you asked me that before, I would have said, oh, I'm good at technology, or I'm good at graphics design, I'm good at building websites. I said, my response today is I'm good at breaking it down. Break it on down. You see me when I do that dance, right? Break it on down. All the way down. I said, if I was really honest with myself and really attentive to the things that women say to me as far as the clarity calls and being able to speak to me or come out and work with me, is, man, LaShanda, you break it down. You break it down. When I looked at the women and I said, listen, right now I'm doing my Simplify, Serve, and Sell challenge because I realized that a lot of people, a lot of the women that I work with, they are so exhausted because they're trying to do 15 things, 15 different ways. They are exhausted. And I said, I want you to show you how to keep it simple. Remember my simple system? Some of y'all don't know it because you just kind of popping on here for the first time. My Simplify, Serve, and Sells challenge, by the way, is at sistersense.com/simple. Instead of trying to do all of everything and ended up doing nothing, how about you keep it simple? SIMPLE. Select item, market, promote, link, engage. Yesterday, not last night, but yesterday afternoon, ladies were like, what? Say that again. Write that down. Say that. Even just breaking down what simple means and how to do simple in your business. I said, that is the gift. That is my gift. That is why I'm here. Why are you here? What are the gifts that you have to give right now? Who are you called to serve? What are you here to give? The ladies were like, what? Say that again. Say that again. I was like, okay. I said, my Simplify, Serve, and Sell, my simple system that I created for the ladies in my circle on Sister Sense. They were like, where is it? sistersense.com/simple. I want to help you kiss the confusion away, my entrepreneurs looking to do everything and still you're not doing anything. Simplify the process so that you can amplify your success. I'm here to break it down. That is what I'm here. That's the gift I'm called to give right now. Might not be forever, because a lot has happened, a lot happens, and a lot will happen. But this is the gift I'm here to give right now. What are you here to give right now? Write it down. Share it via the comments. What I love about Facebook Live, it's pretty awesome that you guys can share and write even when I'm not watching or we're not live. You can post and put in there. I'm not just here to get on my speaker box or my soapbox and pour into you today and do the ugly cry today. I'm here to ask you powerful questions. The first part, I said to you, you are a gift. You are a gift from the Most High. So do you create an agenda every day? If you don't start creating your agendas, what is your agenda for today? Number two, I said you are gifted, not by IQ, but by the uniqueness that is you. You make a difference by being different in this world. You share something. How are you different? How are you gifted? What aspect of your life do you feel like you keep reliving and you don't want to live that anymore? You want to be in a space where you're not living the same life 75 years. That is no life to live. That is no life to live. Last but not least, you have gifts to give. So what are you here to give? Who are you here to serve? Write that down. Put it on your heart. Wear it as a badge. This is what I'm here to do right now. Listen, I love that yesterday Adia said, I'm going to be honest with you, I got a lot going on in my life. Adia, the trendy socialite, she hosted a beautiful brunch here in Greenville, North Carolina. She said, okay, who are my entrepreneurial women? Come on, let's brunch, let's talk, let's have a good time. And she just posted it on Facebook, impromptu. She said, right now in my life, I'm here to take care of myself. I'm here to take care of my parents. I'm here to take care of my business. Myself, my parents, my business. Those are my priorities. Right now, I can't do anything else but that, but that's okay. If I can't do for you, I'll say, listen, no. We talked about yesterday how to say no, that it's okay to say no. And sometimes you can say, listen, I can't be on that church committee right now. I can't help you with this project right now, but I can point you in the right direction. Or I can say, come back to me in 2 weeks or 3 weeks once I've gotten this stuff off my plate, rather than keep piling stuff onto your plate. But just acknowledging, this is what I'm called to do. I'm called, she said, I'm here. I'm called to serve my community. I'm called to support my parents. And I'm called to take care of myself. Those are my 3 priorities right now. That is as much as I can give. What can you give? Who can you give it to? Whether it be to other people, to a community, to your family, to your friends, to yourself. What gifts are you here to give? So number 1, I want you to take a look at your creations. Your creations, whether they be your children. My little one is a creation. He's a hilarious creation. He's mine. Whether it be the creations that you created for your business, for the businesses or the companies that you serve, for your church, look at your creations. Sometimes I have to go back and watch my videos. I have to hear the things that I said and hear and see the responses that people had. So I remember that I am gifted, that I'm a gift, that I have gifts to share. Sometimes we get so all up in our head about the new thing or the old thing or the thing that didn't work or what went wrong. Remember I shared with you the message today, criticizing and complaining. When we have to just stop that and be thankful. Take a good look at your creations today. We're acknowledging today is Super Soul Sunday. Today is Easter Sunday. We're acknowledging the resurrection, the Most High, the ultimate sacrifice. Right? We are His creation. Look, let us, His creation, look at our creations and say, here's the God in me. That's a powerful thing. That will give you some of the courage and the confidence to really pat yourself on the back, to really feel that you are here for a reason. My girl Annette, she would go, oh, I gotta hug me today. I gotta love me today. I gotta get grounded. She'd lie on the grass. When Lynette was here, we went to the park. There was one day a lot was going on and a lot of crazy. And she said, LaShanda, I need to go to the park. Okay, I know we got work to do. We got videos to do. I know we got to sit in this hotel room and brainstorm, but I need to go to the park. So I took her to our local park. She got on the floor. I said, how long you need. She got on the floor. She got grounded. Whether you need to hug on yourself, look at your creations, get on the floor and just touch the ground and have all of that just kind of ooze off of you. Whatever's making you feel heavy, just kind of ooze off of you. She talks about the power. Lynette is a light worker. The power of getting grounded. Whatever you need to do to acknowledge that you have gifts here to give. Look at your creations. That's number one. Number two, subscribe me, please. You want to be on my list? You can email me, sistersense@gmail.com, if you would like to be subscribed to my list. I think that's what you're referring to. You can email me, sistersense@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, sistersense.com, and if you just scroll down, all of a sudden, a big old thing will appear, a big old form that will say, put your email and your name in here, and then you'll get on my list if that's something that you want to do. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. It's very sunny this morning, so I decided to put on the sundress. Plus, I'm going to do some planting and gardening with my son. And, I don't do it often, so I have to get all cute when I do it. Excuse me. Forgive me. Hello, I'm Turkish. Welcome. It's also difficult for me to see the screen right now, even though I have on my glasses. It's very sunny. Forgive me. Those on Facebook Live, I know sometimes I'm looking on the Periscope screen. It's really sunny because, sometimes the screen gets dark because of that. And also forgive the sniffling. At some point, I got really emotional and started to cry, so now I got the sniffles. And I don't have a tissue beside me and not about to sneeze into my dress. It's too cute. It's got to stay clean. Oh, thank you. You're amazing for being here. Hopefully this is something that resonates with you. If you find it helpful, share it. Tweet it to your friends. Tweet it to your followers. If you're new to me, follow. And again, you can subscribe either emailing me, or honestly, the best way is just to go to sistersense.com. Give it 2 seconds. You'll see a form appear at the very top, and you can subscribe to my list. This is a good stuff, good morning conversation. Sometimes I jump on here in the morning because I feel like some good stuff is happening and I feel compelled to preach. But I do see that there is some form of ministry and empowerment in being able to share my personal lessons learned and stories. So again, if it's helpful to you, that's good. That's good. The last thing that I'm going to say today before I go away is understanding that you have to raise the vibration on positivity in your life. One of the entrepreneurs that I follow, Gary V, he talks about this and the power of positivity. And, I think it's such a curious thing that, for example, let's say I do a scope today and 15 people say 15 things. You're beautiful. You're amazing. This was so helpful for me. I cried. And one person comes on and says, you're ugly. You're stupid. You're black. Why are you doing this? All of a sudden, that one person speaks for all people. All of a sudden, all the amazing, the beautiful, you changed my life just gets muted. I know what that's like. I have insecurities about certain aspects of myself. Let somebody come on here and call out one of those insecurities. All of a sudden, I forgot what I'm talking about. I'm mad. Why they gotta come on and say such and such about me? They knew to say that. The devil knew to get them on that scope and say that because they knew that was going to make me feel bad about myself. And they knew that if they said that, I shouldn't come up on here because when they say that, I feel bad. Sometimes we raise the volume on negativity to such a high degree, we can't even hear the good stuff people are saying. I said, when I look at my life, I went to a private school, and then I went from a private school. There's a big old B beside me. Boo, you better move. Stage right, stage left. I went to a private school. I then went to a specialized high school. There are only 3 of them in Brooklyn. I went to Brooklyn Technical High School. I went to Columbia University, Ivy League. I share this with you not to brag, but simply to say, even being in a space of giftedness, I felt stupid and slow. And every time somebody says something wrong about me, I can't tell you maybe 5 good things that my aunt said about me. One particular aunt in particular on my father's side. But I can remember when they said, we don't love you, we love your little sister. I can remember that. I can remember when she said, oh, LaShanda got into Columbia. I would see her sister doing that. I don't see her doing that. She kind of slow. She kind of quiet. I can remember those statements because, see, we raise the volume up on the negative. They etch pieces in like tattoos on our skin. So every degree, I got boxes, awards. How come I couldn't raise the volume up on that? Sometimes it's hard for you to acknowledge the gifts that you have to give because you've raised the volume up on negativity in your life. And I'm sharing this because I want to be fully transparent as a person who comes on here and talks about sales and entrepreneurship and success. And if you're looking at me in my life and saying, well, that's where I want to be, guess what? There's a space I want to be. There's stuff in my mind that I'm trying to power through. I ain't perfect. Which means, guess what? On some level, everybody is going through something like you. May not be just like you what they going through, but they going through something like you. They got something in their mind. Oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so smart. You do that stuff on technology. You make it look so easy. When you talking, you selling, you do that so well. Does that mean that I don't have scars? Absolutely not. There are things that are aspects about the relationships that I had with my mom that caused me to overgive. If I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this, will they like it? Looking for mommy's affection and attention from other people. As an entrepreneur, realize that you are a grown child. And there are things that happen to you and around you that affect how you operate as an adult and a business person. Whether you're overgiving, whether you are in a space where you're underperforming, whether you are deep discounting because you're looking for some kind of affirmation. One of the ladies came on the scope and I was talking about ABG, always be given, versus ABC, always be closing, and things you need to do to strategically sell. She said, listen, sometimes I just give my books away for free because I just want somebody to have it. It's so hard to sell it. I just want somebody to have it. Why? Dig deeper so they can say it looks amazing. I read it. It sounds amazing. They can say something to you that maybe your mama never said to you or your father never said to you. We are grown children. And sometimes if we could just dial down the volume on the negativity, raise up the volume on the positivity, that helps you, that strengthens you when it's time to share your gifts with the world. I said, two of my clients, one said, who am I to ask people what they want to talk to me about, to charge people to talk to me on the phone? Who am I? Come on now. I said, come on now. You're gifted. That's who you are. I had one lady said to me, well, you know what I'm saying to the world, it ain't nothing special. It's common knowledge. It's common sense. I said, listen, stop that. You created a movement and there are folks out here, they struggling to move. Stop that talking about common sense. Common sense is not common. What you are saying right now is moving mountains for somebody somewhere. So if you're not monetizing your magic, we need to figure out how to make that happen. She was close to tears. She looked at me. She said, thank you. Thank you. Because sometimes I feel like I'm not getting it right. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes I feel like, how come they listen to her and they don't listen to me? I said, because you haven't created a space where you feel confident enough to say, listen to me. Sometimes I tell you guys I've been doing this for 17 years, not simply to just say I've been doing this for a long behind time, but to say, listen, I know I look like I'm 16, but I've got some age and I got some wisdom on me. Maybe you 43, maybe you 55, maybe you 62, but I got a little bit more wisdom on you in this area because this area is my gift. That ain't let me be clear. Your gift is your gift. And if you've ever done a clarity call with me, when I speak to my clients, I think I see one of my clients here, June. When I speak to my clients, I always say, listen, I'm very quiet. Not because I'm not here. For the first 10 or 15 minutes sometimes, I'm real quiet. Because I want you to talk and talk and talk. I need to hear as much as you need to say so I can learn you and your gift. Sometimes I'm very quiet because when you listen back to that call that you had with me, I need you to hear your gift. Sometimes y'all don't even hear yourself speak. You actually have to record it and hear it back. And I said, sometimes I do that because I am an expert at what I do, but you are an expert at what you do. I'm not an expert in your field. You're coming to me with help about your field. So I need for you to teach me your knowledge. I need for you to tell me your language. So I'm not quiet because I'm not listening to you. And sometimes clients come on clarity calls with me. By the way, if you feel like you want to talk to me one-on-one, you can go to callme.sistersense.com, CALLME, callme.sistersense.com, right? And sometimes clients are like, am I saying too much? Am I over talking? LaShanda, please don't, because I want to get everything you got to give me, so I don't want to talk too much. And I said, no, I need you to talk because I'm an expert at what I do, but I know that you're an expert in your field. So I have to figure out how to talk your language. So I'm listening right now. And I need you to, when you listen to the replay, to listen to that. The replay, by the way, is a gift in and of itself because so many times when I talk to clients, they feel like they have to write it all down. And I'm like, listen, sometimes you write stuff. You ever write stuff and stuff just gets lost? You're like, what the hell was I writing? What did I say when I wrote? Sometimes just writing it down isn't enough. So the replay in and of itself is a gift, not just to hear the things that I say, but to hear the things that you said on that particular session. And so it's important to really, really, really be in a space where, again, number one, when it comes to you acknowledging that you're here, that you have gifts to give, taking a good look at your creations so you can say, wow, look at what I created. Your child, your family, your home, your spirit, your heart, your congregation, your community. Wow. Please acknowledge that. For those of us who are driven and always on to the next thing, it's very easy to really acknowledge what we created back here, back there. All that stuff you got in your closet. All that stuff you got in your inventory. It's real easy to dismiss that because you on to the next thing. But you have to acknowledge your creations because that helps you talk about those creations in a space of confidence. I've been doing this for 17 years, youngin'. When I say that, that helps me feel confident because sometimes I don't. I'm a pioneer in this game. I've been talking about black business women and women of color doing entrepreneurship with other people looking funny, questioning my money. Now they feel like they too good to play. It's okay. I'm a pioneer in this. I'm going to keep doing this till the wheels fall off. Sometimes you got to pump yourself up like you about to go in a boxing ring. Sometimes you in a boxing ring with yourself. Right? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. All eyes on me. Look at your creations. Raise your vibration by raising the volume up on the positive, dialing back the negative. I talked about trigger words today. I said to you, I don't know if you saw or if you've tried my new normal guide over at thenewnormal.sistersense.com. It's my personal system to creating new normalcies in my life, to powering through to my best you, not saying the dream or dreaming the dream, but living the dream. In the new normal workbook, I talked about trigger words, those things that hold you back versus the words that move you forward. When you look at your creations, when you dial back the negativity and raise up the positivity, you put yourself in a space where you can do great things and you can say to people that you're doing great things. Some of y'all don't even know how to confidently say that you have a gift, that you are a gift, that you've got gift to give. Some of you are thinking that you praying for profit and begging for business. You bothering folks. I don't want to bother folks. I send out an email today, 30 people unsubscribe. I'm bothering people. I'm going to stop it. Who am I? Why am I doing this? Why am I being an entrepreneur trying to sell to folks? Some of y'all, you think that the word of selling is wrong. Who thinks that sales is a bad word? Kind of word that puts a bad taste in your mouth. I don't want to be a seller. I'm a server. I'm a light worker. I'm an empowerer. I'm everything but a seller. But guess what? I'm doing this for my business owners, and I'm here to tell you, you are, and you have to be a seller. Whether you selling the business, a product, or yourself. I always tell clients, at the end of the day, before people buy what you sell, they have to buy what you say. So sometimes, before you even selling the product, you selling yourself. What are your gifts? What do you have to give? Powerful questions. You know I'm about the money and the monetizing your magic and all that good stuff, the marketing and listen, this is the work before the work. I love that phrase, by the way. One of the ladies in my circle, Chauncey Beatty, she is a heart worker, Chauncey. And I have to acknowledge her because during one of our clarity calls, she said that one day, and it just kind of stuck with me. The work before the work. Today I acknowledged Letitia Nicole. Her brand statement is speaking life. Today I want you to speak life. Today I acknowledge the amazing Kim Coles, one of my clients, Kim. She talks about speaking your gifts. Today I'm talking about gifts. So you literally have to speak your gifts. Write them down. What are the gifts that you are called to give to the world right now? Good morning to you, my dear Daphne. Thank you and welcome. Good morning to you, Empo. Mwah. I love you, sweetie. I'll see you again. Good morning, Soraya. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you, beautiful spirits. Facebook Live, Periscope. Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful Good Sunday, Easter Sunday. Acknowledging Resurrection Day. The things that He did, Most High has done for us so that we could be here today. I felt compelled to share with you the power of understanding just 3 things. Number 1, you are a gift. Number 2, you are gifted. And number 3, you have gifts to give. So that's it. Time for me to get my TD Jakes on, my Stephen Furtick on, eat my Sunday brunch, plant some stuff with my hubby, my son. We've got an aloe vera plant, and it's outgrown its pot, so he needs to replant that. I'm going to plant some small herbs and things of that nature. Appreciate God today. That's all I can do. Be thankful. Be loved. Love on others. That's all we can do. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Again, if you feel like it has, feel free to share it with your followers. If you feel like something touched you and you want to talk to me about it, you can email me, sistersense@gmail.com. I do love to talk and hear from you guys, so feel free to email me, sistersense@gmail.com. I talked about one of the amazing ladies who came here to North Carolina, Lynette Crosby, to work with me and to be with me and have me pour into her for a week. We created some amazing that week together. If you would like to meet me in NC, again, you can email me. If you'd like to work with me for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, book a hotel, come out so that I can help you do whatever it is that you want to do. Email me, let me know. If you'd like to meet me in May in VA, a few days ago, I said a year to date, I took a few fabulous ladies to my favorite resort in Virginia. We were by the water. We worked by the water. We talked about marketing and sales. I built their websites, created membership components. This year, really, I'm only doing it if people say they want to do it with me. So if you want to meet me in May in VA and for a couple of days we work together, I can tell you all the details, where it's going to be, how it works out. It's a beautiful resort in Virginia. Again, you can email me, sistersense@gmail.com. It doesn't necessarily have to be May. Like I said, if you just want to meet me in NC so we can talk about what you want to talk about with respect to your business, your vision, your brand, And just be in a quiet, supportive space. Sometimes you guys are in a space where you feel like, even though you have the best of intentions to create and get things done, it just does not happen. Hopefully I can create that kind of quiet, intentional space for you. That's what I like to do. Provide clarity, fire, and focus. So again, email me, sistersense@gmail.com. Let me know what you would like for us to work on. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if something about this particular session today resonated with you and you wanted to share and converse and just connect. So go love on your family, go love on yourself, and I'll see you guys right back here real soon.